love that tune. Avicii with Rita Ora with Lonely Together. And before that, Shawn Mendes with If I Can't Have You. You're listening to The Weekend Breakfast with me, Laura Anderson, here until 11 o'clock today. And I'm not alone in the studio today. No, I'm not. In fact, I'm quite jealous of her lovely outfit. Here's Kenzie has joined me. Now, Kenzie is a local drag artist, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And she's going to be talking about how to get into it and what it's all about. So you need to stay tuned for that one. And I cannot describe the unbelievable, bright and wow factor of her outfit and the overall buzz in the studio. In fact, I'm going to try and persuade her to be my co-host for this hour. How does that sound? You're listening to The Weekend Breakfast with me, Laura. I'll be joined by Kenzie in just a minute. In the meantime, I've got some brilliant tunes for you, including this one. Here's Benny Blanco with Eastside. So that's your gold hit from the 60s for the first hour of The Weekend Breakfast. Smokey Robinson with Going to a Go-Go. Fantastic tunes for your weekend breakfast. You're listening to The Weekend Breakfast with me, Laura, on Gateway 97.8, here till 11 o'clock today. I am not alone in the studio. No, I am not. In fact, I've been outdone by my makeup, my hair and my outfits because I've been joined by Kenzie, who is a very local, a Basildon, in fact. We were just discussing your roots. So
yes, I'm an Essex girl.
You are indeed. And you are classed as a drag queen, which I think is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
So, talk us through what you are wearing today.
So, I've got a nice little black and white checkerboard abstract dress on. I've got a nice neon green blazer, which is actually a men's one, but it's nice and oversized, so it works. I've got some nice thigh-high green boots on, because it covers the leg hair. And yeah, a nice long black wig on because I look good in black.
But I think you look absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, you've definitely outdone me this morning. What time did you have to get up to get ready this morning?
Well, I set my first alarm for 5:30.
I love how you say first alarm. Yeah, we all done that.
That was the first alarm. Second alarm was about 6 o'clock after I'd done sleeping through the first alarm. And yeah, I finally started getting ready about that time. So yeah, it takes a while.
It does indeed. However, we were discussing that Monday to Friday, you're not Kenzie.
No.
And it doesn't take you that long to get ready.
No, hardly any time at all. And I apologise to anyone in my office who's listening right now for how I normally look, because it's not normally as glamorous as I am now. Yeah, so Monday to Friday I work in an office in the fashion industry, which I absolutely love. It's my dream industry to work in. Yeah, I'm really happy with where I am in terms of that at the moment. Yeah,
that's really cool. But at weekends you come alive, you become Kenzie, and you were saying how you've got a performance background, you've got training in performance, so you'd really like to go into that.
Yeah,
but there are some issues with going into performing with venue-wise anyway, we were just discussing. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, so I suppose a lot of it really is down to so many LGBTQ plus venues and venues that will host drag performers and acts like that. They're just closing down. There's so little out there for people like myself at the moment. You know, which is really sad. And I'm seeing so many of my friends in the industry as well. They're just saying, oh my God, I can't believe this venue's closed down. You know, what are we going to do now? I've seen so many of my friends who have owned venues. They've had to close them down as well. My very first drag performance was at a bar in Camden, which was owned by an absolutely incredible drag queen, who I'm friends with a lot of her drag family as well. So it was a really good experience to be a part of for your first performance. But it was so sad because shortly afterwards, the venue had to close down. And ever since then, it's just so difficult to get a gig now. And especially with things like Instagram, Facebook, social media, there's so much out there now that you really have to stand out. It's a very difficult field to get into, but you've got to do what you got to do at the end of the day.
It's also about just being who you are.
Exactly.
And if you feel comfortable doing this, it's not
Exactly.
harming anybody. In fact, I believe it's quite enlightening to have variety of people in the world, and I think it's an art that should be carried on.
Oh, definitely. I fully support anybody in what they do. As I've always said, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't care what you do. And I feel that that's the exact same with drag. And if anything, it is such a good helping benefit to people. Before I started doing drag, I was, I had so many mental health problems. I suffered from depression, anxiety. I had no self-confidence at all. But doing drag, it just unleashed this absolute beast that was inside of me. And now I am the sort of person to just go anywhere, head held high. So I would definitely say that drag it's enlightening in a very good way.
Yeah, I would say so. And you said about when you were younger, you had mental health problems. What happens if there's young people listening right now who are thinking, I'd quite like to get into it, but they've got like a fear of what the public may think, what their family might say, that overall of not accepting of who they are. What would be your piece of advice?
I would say, first of all, in terms of what other people think of you, just general public or whoever, I've always found that you might be self-conscious as to what people think of you, but in reality, no one actually really cares because everyone's too wrapped up in themselves. They've got to get there, they've got to get to work, they've got to do this, they've got to do that. No one actually really cares. Literally this morning, I've wandered around the shopping centre in full regalia, absolutely neon green, like I'm very difficult to miss. And people are just walking by, going about their business. So, it doesn't really matter what other people think at the end of the day. As long as you're happy doing what you're doing, that's all that should really matter. And in terms of family and friends, I would say definitely your first point would be make sure you're in a comfortable space. If you don't feel like your family would be accepting of who you are, if you did want to get into drag, or if you do identify as LGBT, maybe wait until you're in a comfortable position where you can be self-reliant, and then you can start to live your life like that. But if you do want to start now and you're unsure of where to go, make sure you've got a place you can go after in case stuff happens. That's definitely what I would say. Make sure you've got a good friend who you can, if stuff goes wrong, you can go around there and they will welcome you with open arms. I would definitely say that's a good point to start with.
That is a really good piece of advice.
Thank you.
I tell you what, the show's only just started, really. Would you like to stick around?
I would love to.
Drink the rest of your coffee.
Yeah.
Chillax with me. And I tell you what, you can be my co-host. What song would you like next?
Well, I would really like to dedicate a song to my friends and family. Some of them have been going through a tough time at the moment. So a couple with mental health issues as well. So I'm supportive of them for that. And my family as well, like my immediate family, we've been going through a bit of a tough time at the moment. So I'd really like to dedicate this song to them. I feel the lyrics speak a lot to the situation. It's Army by Ellie Goulding.
Well, thank you so much, Kenzie, for joining me in the studio. A local drag queen, which is absolutely stunning in everywhere. I think you're great.
Oh, thank you.
You've got to stick around because we've got so much more lined up on the Weekend Breakfast today. And here it is, Ellie Goulding. Bavard with Those Days is a local artist from the Weekend Breakfast here with me, Laura Anderson. Now, if you are a local artist and you would like to get in touch and be played on the radio, all you have to do is send us your track and a little bit about yourselves to unsigned@gateway978.com. You could be played live on air, which is absolutely fantastic. I've got a very special co-host in with me today. I mean, you was only meant to be like a special guest in for about 5-10 minutes for an interview, and we've decided to stick around. I'm joined with Kenzie, a local drag artist, drag queen. Which do you prefer, really? Which type of title would you prefer?
I mean, I suppose it really depends on person to person. I mean, I prefer either term, really. I'm very sort of... I fluctuate a lot with what I do as such. You know, some days I can be really quite serious with my drag, you know, quite have a serious artistic message. And other days I just want to have fun and be campy. So I really don't mind either term, really. So, yeah.
Either way.
Either way, I'm happy.
Excellent. We were talking about earlier, like a routine. I was having a bit of a moan off, basically, because I had to put on a bit of mascara. And then I was kind of saying, well, Kenzie, what's your routine when you have to get into drag? How long does it take and what do you have to do? I was warned that the show isn't long enough to talk about exactly everything that you have to do, get ready. However, with the listeners who maybe don't even have a clue, haven't watched a single programme about drag artistry, could you tell us, in quite briefly, preferably, what exactly you need to do to get ready?
Well, really, at the end of the day, a lot of drag makeup, it's going to be a lot different to what I'm sure a lot of female viewers out there, listeners rather, will be used to, because as a man trying to portray a woman, you have to do a lot to create that illusion. So a lot of it it's not just on the foundation. Then you have to contour and highlight, which gives your face a completely different shape. Even around the eye makeup, you accentuate, because as a man, you naturally have smaller eyes, you know, smaller features. Our eyes are a lot more inset, whereas a woman's would naturally be a lot more pronounced. So it's all about knowing exactly what sort of features you want to enhance, what ones you want to dehance. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into this. Like, I'm near enough wearing a full Dulux colour range on my face right now. There's a lot of makeup that goes into this. It might not look like it, but yeah, even today, before coming here, I was a good hour or so just doing my makeup alone,
Wow.
which is actually quick for me. Like, there's a lot of steps that I missed out on purpose just so I could, you know, be here on time. Normally I'd probably say it'd take me a good hour and a half to 2 hours to get fully ready. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, a hell of a lot.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking a full hour, and it took me about 5 minutes on the train this morning just to put a bit of bronzer on and a dab of mascara.
Oh, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy.
Well, I have to admit, it is a proper art form that you're doing here. At 10 o'clock, right, so I've got a proposal for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about this? Live on air, no pressure or anything.
No,
but
none
if
at
you
all.
say no, the show plummets.
No pressure at all, thank you.
No, so at 10 o'clock, we open the doors to Radio Club, a club for young people to get into radio, aged between, about 10 up to 18. They're all learning the radio skills, and I thought it would be great if you could become their guest on their show as well.
Absolutely.
Or maybe do some cheeky interviews with the kids as well. Would you mind sticking around for that from 11?
Absolutely, I'd be honoured to.
Oh, fantastic. So they will be here at 10 o'clock, and they go live at 11 o'clock today. So you guys at home need to stay tuned for that one as well. But I do have Kenzie in the studio, our local drag queen, here from Basildon, which is brilliant, and in your full glory, wearing the bright green jacket, which I must admit have woken me up this morning.
Well, it looked a bit dull out there, so I thought I'd lighten it up a bit.
That's what we need. Lewis Capaldi now with Someone You Loved, a brilliant tune for your weekend breakfast with me, Laura.
That was Don't You by the Pussycat Dolls and Busta Rhymes. Now we have Millie and Dion talking about an interview that we're going to play soon.
Hello.
Hello.
So, we've done an interview with a drag queen, and it was amazing. Her name was Kenzie, and it was such a good interview, in my opinion, at least, because I haven't done an interview in ages, so it went better than I thought.
Yes, and to be honest, it was a great interview, and we hope you do enjoy it.
Yeah, we really do, because you've got a lot of interesting things, and we've got
a lot of interesting questions about them.
A lot.
Okay, let's play the interview.
Hello, Hello everyone, so Millie's here, as well as Dion. So today we are going to be interviewing Kenzie. So hello.
Hello.
Why don't we start off how did you get into drag?
Well, I got into it through my love of the pop star Lady Gaga. Don't know if you've heard of her.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, it was actually when I was in school. I was around age 14, and I was going through quite a tough time with sort of bullying and just sort of very low self-confidence, stuff like that. And yeah, all of a sudden I just saw this woman come onto the music scene who was unapologetically herself. She was fierce, she was strong, and I just aspired to that, and it was just something in me that wanted to be her. So that was how I sort of started off. I started off by impersonating her. I used to sort of get some cheap t-shirts from Primark, a few bits and bobs from Hobbycraft, and a hot glue gun, and I just used to recreate all of her amazing costumes, and that was really how I got started in it all.
That sounds amazing, because when people say stuff like that, I just praise them so much and just yes. I wish I had the confidence to do that. So the inspiration is Lady Gaga. Did you start recreating her outfits and her makeup looks from music videos or whatever?
Yeah, so it was really the looks that interested me to begin with. My main interest a lot of the time is in fashion. I went to university for fashion design, so it's always been a very recurring theme for me. It was just sort of experimenting with recreating the costumes to the best of my ability as I could back then, because I was not at all educated on a sewing machine. My makeup was not at all good. I mean, it's debatable now, to be fair, but it's a lot better than it was back then. Yeah, no, I slate it a lot now, but it really was good for me to do, because it just built a lot of confidence for me to get to this point where I am now. So I really am grateful for what I went through with that.
So what is it like in drag?
What is it like in drag?
Yeah.
One word: uncomfortable. I always say to anybody, I love doing drag. I love taking it off even more. I'm not even kidding. Being a drag queen, you get so much respect for what women have to go through. And I just have to say to any woman out there, I fully respect you, what you have to go through on a day-to-day basis. To the best of my biology will let me. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I have apparently I've heard that the wig is one of the most uncomfortable things.
Well, I mean, it's just one very small straw that broke the camel's back, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there's a lot of it that's uncomfortable, but once you start to get used to it, it's not too bad. You learn to push through it all.
Yeah,
and it's
more of a daily thing. It's just oh well.
Yeah, you get used to it, and it all becomes worthwhile in the end. And there's a typical saying in the drag community: beauty is pain. And I am absolutely dying right now in pain, so I must be doing something right, hopefully.
So what sort of performances do you do then?
So I'm quite eclectic in what I do. My main areas are singing live and lip sync, which is a very common thing for drag queens to do. So yeah, I like doing both, but it depends on my mood at the time. Some days I'm not too keen on my singing voice, so I'll just throw on a song from an album and I'll just lip sync to that. And other days I'll want to spice it up a bit and I'll just stand in front of the microphone and do something. I don't like to plan too much. One of my strengths when I did performing arts in college was improv, so I'm quite quick on my feet depending on what I have to do, so that's definitely a benefit in that case.
How did you deal with criticism?
It was difficult at first, but as I said, I got into this because I was going through a stage of bullying at school. So I suppose really nowadays, because I've been through so much, it's really just life experience. Now I'm at the point where, I do get the occasional comment thrown at me on social media, which is not overly nice, and stuff like that. But really, it's just a case of either learning to let it go, ignore it, or my other favourite thing to do in that situation is I live by the mantra of kill 'em with kindness. So I find that there's so much unkindness in the world. I like to play it back and just be as nice as possible to whoever's being horrible to me. It puts them on a bit of a guilt trip, so I'm not a fan of when people go through stuff like that and they just instantly feel the need to shut them down. I like to create an understanding. I've always been very open in any questions that are put to me, even if they might be a little bit ignorant. I will correct them and the person that's asked it, to help create an understanding and therefore create tolerance and acceptance.
I remember when I came out, I dealt with a lot of criticism because my whole school was like, oh God,
Yeah.
LGBTQ is here.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, deal with it. Like, I don't care if you don't feel like it's right, because the thing is, as long as I'm myself, that makes me happy, and as long as I surround people who accept that, then I don't really have to listen to the others.
At the end of the day, I mean, this is just myself, but it would be nice if more people had this sort of mentality. But at the end of the day, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you really shouldn't give a damn what anyone else is doing in their lives. So
as long as you're not hurting anyone, then what's the problem?
Yeah. But I suppose, it's a lot more difficult being around your age, because the way things are at the moment, a lot of education in school is based around heteronormative relationships, which is why there's such a fight for LGBT to become more predominant within education. As I said before, knowledge creates tolerance and understanding. So it's difficult when you're that age, but I think a lot of it depends on the education system nowadays to catch up to where we are within society. I mean, it's going to be a long fight, considering where we've come from. Just a few years ago, I mean, we didn't have marriage rights a few years ago until now. And while they're still on the fence, at least it's being talked about. Yeah. Which is the main thing. No one's hiding it under the rug. No one's, it's no longer as taboo as it was, which is really good.
Because now, people are actually like, okay, we should accept this. Like, although we've still got those people who are like, no.
Yeah.
At least we've still got a good majority of people who who accepts it.
At the end of the day, I'm not saying that everybody has to be okay with who you are. Everyone's just different in their own perspectives and opinions. But at the end of the day, as long as you respect my life, I'll respect your life, I'll respect your opinion, and I'm not going to waste my time trying to persuade you otherwise, because I've got a lot more important things to do. I'm very busy. That's just the way I feel about that sort of topic. But if someone was to ask me something, I would be completely honest with them. So yeah.
How long did it take to get ready?
So this morning I was a bit quicker with what I did, because me being me, I had a bit of a lay-in. I set my alarm originally for 5:30, didn't actually wake up until about 6:30. Started doing my makeup around 7. By a miracle, I actually managed to be done on time, but this was literally just a one-off. Otherwise, normally it could take me around hour and a half to 2 hours to get completely into drag. But the thing about drag makeup especially is that when you're assigned female at birth, doing makeup, you don't have to sort of create pronounced features that of the opposite sex. You've already got them, thankfully. Whereas when you're a man trying to become a woman, there's so much that you're basically trying to change your biology with makeup. So that's why it takes so long.
Because you have to change the whole face structures.
Exactly. As a man, your eyes are more inset. As a woman, your eyes are more pronounced. So it's creating larger eyes for yourself. More shapely cheekbones, just stuff like that. Really, it takes a lot. I mean, it probably doesn't look like I've got a whole lot of makeup on right now, but I've got essentially the whole Dulux paint aisle on my face right now. There's a lot that's gone on.
I can now imagine just you getting out makeup and just which palette.
It's very much like that. I'm now at the point where I've got a full-size makeup box, which is pretty huge, and then I've got an overflow basket where I just put stuff that I might occasionally use. I've got a lot of makeup.
With me, I just got a little stitch bag that I bought from Primark and just some stuff that I bought at Tesco for £1. It's that'll do.
Yeah, I used to be like that when I first started, but not anymore. I can't.
Well, that's all you've got for today. I wish I could talk to you more, but
thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Well, thank you very much for that interview, Dion and Millie. Now we have Feels by Calvin Harris.